Papers, what are they got to say then? Well, shockingly, everyone I've seen so far, apart from one I think, has got the Michael Fallon sex scandal in. What a shock. An MP that's a pervert. So we'll start with the Mail. Commons, sex for all, the first scalp. And it is the first scalp. There's another 600 plus there to go. Defence Secretary quits. Fallon warns PM of revelations to come. Deputy PM fights back against false claims he targeted young activists. Notice in there they use the term false claims. They're all a bunch of sick pedos, as far as I'm concerned. But this is the first in many that's about to fall. And if you actually look at that photo down in the bottom there, to be fair, his missus looks more masculine than he does. And that's probably due to the time spent at Eton where he was getting spanked and whipped naked because that's what they do. They're a bunch of sick things that go to that university. The scum. Fallon on his sword. You can see what they're playing there. Sleeve storm, defence sec, I quit. Well, what a shock. Again, up there, The Graduate, because apparently Dustin Hoffman's also a paedophile. Well, wow, you mean, does that mean that Hollywood is full of paedophiles? You could have knocked me over with a feather. Wow, who'd have thought? Pest Minister sensation, yeah. Guardian. Fallon quits as harassment scandal grows. But you notice, if it was you or me, we'd be being interviewed by the police and looking at a court case. These scumbags, oh, I quit, oh, that's it, just walk away because you've quit. Just quitting isn't good enough. They need to face charges. They've been getting away with it for far too long and they're still getting away with it. And by quitting and walking away, they're just getting away with it further. Right, on the right hand side there, benefit cuts to leave 5 million children in poverty. They don't give a shit about children. They don't give a shit about anyone apart from themselves. So they're going to leave millions of children starving. That's what poverty means, starving. But they don't give a shit because they claim it all back on expenses. Expenses need to be gone for these scumbags. They take the piss globally all the time, but they walk away. Oh, because I've done something wrong, oh, I'll quit and I'll walk. No, quitting and walking's not the answer anymore. Quitting, yeah, maybe. Facing jail time, yeah, definitely. The Star. For some reason, this is the one that hasn't got Fallon in it. Enders and Corrie in Christmas crisis. If you're dumb enough to watch any of these shows over Christmas, you'll have the miserablest time of your life because it's always doom, gloom, death and mayhem. If you're watching TV, watch a comedy. Don't watch any of this shit. And of course, the obligatory half-naked lady on there as well. Telegraph. Well, to try and combat the sex scandal coming out of the corrupt, evil, criminal government, up top right there, corridors of power, what it's like for a woman in politics. Now, it won't be talking about her being molested or anything. It'll try and deflect from the fact of all the molestation, rape and sexual deviance that goes on in the Parliament. Fallon quits as Westminster sex scandal claims its first scalp. Now notice they're all saying, or most of them anyway, first scalp and there's more to come. Of course there's more to come. There are a bunch of deviants, a lot of them. You know it, I know it. They are starting to realise that we know it as well now. Daily Mirror. Dustin Hoffman sexually harassed me when I was just 17. Wow, so, you know, paedophiles in Hollywood, paedophiles in Parliament, and then that cop come out recently and says there are too many paedophiles to lock up. No, there aren't. Empty the prisons of all those that haven't committed crimes, i.e. speeding, as long as they haven't killed anyone or harmed anyone, any offence. Council tax, not paid your council tax, no. No, there's plenty of room for all these pedos in prison, more than we know about, and there's much more to come. And it's time that we, as upstanding, decent men and women, stood up and said, we've had enough, we're not taking it anymore, we're not listening to any shit that comes out of Parliament, and any of the rules that you make up, we aren't obeying. It's got nothing to do with us. We are saying enough's enough. Fallon quits as Defence Second Sex Storm. What a shock. The deviants in Parliament again, that's all. FT. On the right hand side there, fear factor. Driverless cars need to be able to bore us. What, you mean like traffic lights do? HSBC faces criminal complicity. Gupta probe. Call for SCA inquiry into South African links. Banks said to have ignored warnings. You mean the banks are corrupt? You mean they steal others' property because they get away with it because they're backed by the criminally corrupt courts? Wow, what a shock that is. So HSBC is a criminal organisation, just like every, and I do mean every other single bank. Shocking, I'm sure. Again, Fallon, blow for May as Fallon quits amid sexual misconduct storm. Wow, blow for May. Yeah, I bet he'd like a blow that May as well. Express. Alzheimer's simple test to spot disease in middle age. Well, simple test, simple thing to do to avoid Alzheimer's in the first place. Take a tablespoon of coconut oil a day and you'll never get Alzheimer's. Or in theory, you'll never get Alzheimer's. Because you can't, you see, on these, when you put stuff out, you can't say there's a cure, or you're not supposed to, because you get locked up for saying there's a cure, you know. If there's a cure, and you talk about it, oh, you're in deep poo-poo. You know what? That's what you can do. Not you lot, but those that say you can get locked up. 1 million a day spent on asylum seekers. Let's chuck in that divide and conquer bit there, shall we? Because let's not mention the one. Let's mention the 1 million a day if it is that, and let's avoid mentioning the 1 billion a day goes to the EU. Eh? No, don't worry about that. We'll just not talk about that. Oh, it's the 10p, as you can see. And again, sir, if you're a sir, you're almost certainly a paedophile. Defence Secretary quits over improper conduct. Fallon stuns Westminster. Actually, they all knew it was coming. This is the tip of the iceberg for him as well. He's not just touching someone's leg and whatever else. He's been into load more dirty stuff. I guarantee it. I'm not going to mention too much more about that because he's in every paper so far. But on the left bottom there, the student thesis that changed our understanding of the world, and that's supposed to be him that talks through a computer. I don't believe that's even him. I believe it's a copy of him, a clone of him. What happened to his teeth? He suddenly changed from having fairly normal teeth to having weirdo teeth. I don't believe that's him. That's a clone, in my opinion. Metro. Fallon quits over sleaze. What a shock. But at the top there in orange, what a carry on. Comedian Alan is a Halloween fright as Towies gem. I have no idea what that's about, but I guess Towies must be the only way is Essex. So why does program, we are programming you, why do programs end up in what's the supposed news? Because it is all a program and they're there to distract you, and it's a known fact that the TV screens operate at a certain frequency that send you into a trance. And if you want any evidence of that, if you've got kids and they're watching TV and it's dinner time and you call the kids for TV and you have to call them 2 or 3 times because they're there in a trance. Stop watching the TV. It is the biggest control mechanism on the planet. And when I was on holiday in Dominican, we were travelling around, and even though they live in wooden shacks, they've all got cable TV because they need everyone controlled and brainwashed. Stop watching the TV, the biggest control mechanism on the planet. Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.